What's going on, my fellow cardboard nerds and YouTube? My name is Mike Brown, aka Panda Man, and today I have my Fire King deck profile for you guys. And without further ado, let's go ahead and getting straight into it. So first and foremost, we have the heart and soul of the deck, which is your 3 Sacred Fire King Garunix. One of the most important cards in the deck, in my opinion. Yes, I am playing 3. I see a lot of builds that are playing 2. Can't really disagree or agree with that, but I mean, at 3, I feel like it's just pretty good. The grind game for this deck is pretty strong. A lot of decks don't know how to deal with it as far as outgrind it, and as long as you have this card in rotation, you're never losing advantage at all. Speaking of more advantage, for your pop for the effect is Kirin. For those who don't know, Sacred Fire King Garunix, when it's normal or special, you can pop a fire beast or beast warrior from your deck, and then if a original monster that is fire is destroyed, you can special summon her from the graveyard. So when you pop Kirin, when Kirin is destroyed, it has an effect where you can monster reborn any Fire King from your grave and then non-target pop a card. All one effect. It's pretty good, pretty insane, and it's another level 8. And then in order to special summon it, it has a quick effect during the main phase. You can pop a fire from your field or hand to special summon Kirin. So it's pretty good when you pair it with the other cards when we get into it later. Other cards, you have your Baby Bird, you have Ponix. Ponix is pretty good to get your search off for the Sanctuary. Sanctuary is also pretty good. And you can also special summon Ponix off of the second effect of Fire King Island, which is pretty good. And then it also has the effect to special summon if a fire was destroyed. You can special summon her from your hand. It's also pretty good. Nice utility, nice energy, etc., etc. Another 3 of, we play the 3 Elephant, Avara. Avara is pretty good. It's your monster to negate by destroying a fire from your hand or the field. Also, when she is destroyed by card effects, you can special summon a Fire King from the graveyard, and then during the end phase, it gets destroyed. But the effects are negated, and then during the end phase, it gets destroyed. It's pretty good. It's your, one thing I would say about this, you always want to see this in your opening hand. Sure, you play Tinky, but it plays in the Droll. But when you have this card, it's pretty insane for your first normal summon or summon of the deck to stop your mostly Droll, Ash, depending on what gets Ash and depending on what your hand is like. Sure, you can use the negate for the Ash, but mostly I use it for Droll. It's pretty good. It's pretty strong. Going first. Your one-ofs, you play the 1 Barong and the 1 Rangbali. Sorry if I mispronounced that name, but these 2 are pretty good. Rangbali is just like your Elephant. The Elephant is your monster negate. Rangbali is your spell and trap. That's the only thing he does, unfortunately, besides the negate, is just he special summon himself from hand if a fire was destroyed, or a Fire King, I believe. Yes, a Fire King was destroyed by a card effect. You can special summon him from hand. So he's pretty good when you get your loops going with your Big Bird. Just bring them out from hand. Going first is also pretty good. Games 2 and 3, knowing your opponent plays evenly matched, this card is pretty good. And then you already know, old school Fire King players know Barong. During the next standby phase after he's destroyed, you can search any Fire King card. Pretty good. For the non-engine, of course, we play the 1 of Black Witch, the 1 Snake Ash, and the 1 Big Snake. Nothing really much, mostly with these 2, honestly. Me personally, I never really had the synergy with these guys. I never really had them. Most of the time when I had them in hand, they would get popped from Fire King Island just to get my search and go on from there. But it was never a point where I needed this or it gave me any type of advantage besides the pop. I never used the effect to search. It took up a negate, which allowed me to keep going. Other than that, it never really came up. If there was anything out of the deck that I would change, I would probably replace these for a triple tack, or a thrust and a triple tack. But as far as Black Witch goes, Black Witch is pretty insane, obviously, because of the Sinful Spoil stuff. She's always there just for a push for extra damage. She's just an extra summon. A lot of opponents waste their imperms or, their effect veilers on her, thinking that she's the, only card when you start with her, and then you just go off with your Fire King plays. It's just pretty insane. For the hand traps, I play 3 Droll, and I also play 3 Ash. That is mostly it for my hand trap lineup. I'm not main decking the Nib or the Veiler because of the Bestials. My personal opinion, it's pretty good so far for Ash and Droll. If I could, one hand trap I would probably place with Ash, maybe be DD Crow. I still play Ash because Ash is Ash, it's a staple. But other than that, I think Droll will be a good card to play in the main deck for this format and next format, because the ban list did drop. Sure did, it was pretty insane. But moving on, we do play the 3 Sanctuary, and to pair it, we play 2 Island. Never had any issues with this ratio at all. Never had double Sanctuary, never opened double Fire King Island. It was either one or the other. If I drew Fire King Island, I always had something to pop off. My hand was never clogged with these cards. Sanctuary is pretty insane. Whenever your opponent tries to pop the Fire King Island, you can pop a fire instead to protect it. And you already know what Fire King Island does, but it's pretty insane. Really like it, really like it. Good synergy for the deck. Also, we play 2 Fire Formation Tinky. Don't play 3. I feel like 3 is a little bit too much. You don't need the elephant as much. Avara is pretty standard, but I feel like 3 Tinky is a little bit too much, and your deck count is at 40. You can mix and match. I never had an issue with 2 Tinky. It was never clogged, never had an issue, so 2 Tinky is fine for me. And then obviously, like I said before, we have our wanted stuff. Play the 3 wanted and the 3 original sinful. I never had an issue with this as well. This was pretty strong. Always activating this in the draw phase and then going off from there was always pretty good. Other than that, there was really nothing bad to say about this. This engine is just pretty good itself. And then being able to summon your Black Witch and still being able to set the wanted off of this even when you open your original is pretty good. But other than that, I have nothing negative to say about it. This engine in this deck is pretty good to get out Ponyx. For the 1-ofs for the Fire King spells, we played the 2 quick play, the 1 Circle and the 1 Skyburn. Circle is just insane. Well, both cards are both insane for OTKs, but Circle is always insane for you to dodge certain targeted effects. There was a match that you guys, I'm pretty sure if you haven't seen it now, go look at it now. I played against Scareclaw, and there was a ruling that we had to fast forward through because it really took 15 to 20 minutes behind Circle, just dodging certain effects. I won't spoil it. Go ahead, watch the feature match. And then Skyburn is just pretty insane and just interrupt your opponent and still be able to go off because your Sacred Fire King Garunix is always there to just pop off if something gets destroyed. It's pretty insane. And then for the last we play the Call by the Grave. Call by the Grave, pretty standard. And then the last 3 for the hand traps is 3 Infinite Impermanence. Impermanence, good this format. Impermanence just insane paired with this deck. Moving on to the extra deck, we play the 2 Garunix Entity. I call it the Godbird. Godbird is pretty insane. When it succeeds summon, you destroy all other monsters on the field. It's pretty good for you as well, because most of the time you have instances where you use the effect of Avara to bring back any guy from grave. Mostly it'll be Barong in this case, when you know you're about to summon your entity bird and destroy Barong, and then Barong get you a search on your standby phase. And then the detach effect of this guy is to detach to pop a spell or trap, and then it gains 500 attack. And then if it's destroyed, you can special summon 2 Fire Kings. Well, not necessarily 2, but you can special summon Fire Kings from the grave equal to the number of Xyz material that it has. Mostly it's 2, so you get 2 summons from the graveyard. Moving on, we play the 1 Anti-Zeus, and then we play the 1 Zeus. Never went to any of these guys. A lot of games I did misplay. I'm not gonna lie, this past week at locals, because I didn't summon this card. This card is just insane as far as breaking boards, because a lot of M boards end with monsters that have 3,000 or more attack, and you can get over those easily. And then Zeus is just self-explanatory. Zeus is Zeus, but I never went into him. And then we play the 1 Dingirsu. Dingirsu is pretty insane as far as protection from battle and just sending a card to go into your Zeus. For the links, we play the 1 Access Code, we play the 1 Selene, and that's it. For the big links, we play the 1 Almirage, we play 1 Hida, and then we play 1 Dark. Dark is pretty self-explanatory. Dark is pretty good because of Bestials and or Tier, or I can say was Tier. Sorry, Tier players. I mean, it is what it is. Call Konami. Don't complain to me. But might take this out depending on how things go. Might go get a another replacement for this. Not sure on what yet, because the extra deck is still pretty tight. Hida is pretty self-explanatory in order to get, you know, other fire monsters going to your Selene and your access code. It's pretty insane. And then Sunlight Wolf is self-explanatory as well. Sunlight Wolf is pretty insane recursion. And then we play the 1 IP and the 1 SP. SP is pretty insane. When we go on the side deck, let you know other reasons why this card is pretty good. And then IP, you already know to link off and go into your SP to do disruption on your opponent's turn. And then for the 1-ofs, we play the 1 Anima, the 1 Linkuriboh, and the 1 Almirage. Linkuriboh is pretty good. People never seen coming when you go into Linkuriboh and then summon your Dark, depending on what the matchups are. And then also going into SP, people forget about that as well. Almirage is Almirage. As long as you're playing level 1s in your deck, I recommend this in the side deck. I mean, in the main deck, always. We play the Droll, we play the Ponix, so it's pretty good. Same thing with Almirage to get rid of your Ponix, depending on what your extra deck or situation is. You'll just get that out as soon as possible. For the side, I am playing 3 Nibiru. Nibiru is self-explanatory. Nibiru is still a strong card. People do forget about this card most of the time when they're trying to push for game and they think you have no resources left. If they don't bring out the negate, it's just their fault. It's terrible. Nib is just still pretty good in this format. Played 3 Jewel Swarm. Jewel Swarm was still good this format, and I feel like it's going to be good next format as well. Jewel Swarm is just pretty good, self-explanatory. Being able to link this off, going to XP in order to chain block is also pretty good. Chain 1, you know, SP chain 2 Jewel Swarm for extra disruption, but Jewel Swarm is just pretty good. May change some stuff up going into next year. Never know. Also was playing 3 DD Crow. Before in the my old list, these were 2 Lightning Storm and 1 Harpies. That never really came up because Skyburn always put in a lot of work, honestly, when getting rid of back row for certain matchups. But replacing this with DD Crow is also a good thing. It hits everything in the meta. For other back row move, I just played Cosmic. I was playing the 3 Cosmic, and then I was playing 2 Lightning Storm and 2 Lightning Storm and the 1 Harpies. But Cosmic was pretty much self-explanatory. It was pretty good. It took care of what it needed to take care of as far as Floodgates, even though you don't care that much. This deck can play Skill Drain, which is pretty funny, but it's all right. And then the last, we play the 3 Evenly Match. Evenly Match is also pretty insane because you don't necessarily need your battle phase as much unless you know you have the cards necessary to go for the OTK. Because honestly, the Elder God alone, this card can enable so many OTKs when you just go summon and then go into battle, and then you use the effect of either your Skyburn or your Circle to destroy your God Bird in order to special summon any Fire King from the graveyard. And then this effect goes off to bring out your other 2 guys if you have them. There were so many times where I popped this after dealing the 3k damage and then use the effect of Circle to destroy, and then use the effect of the Elder to bring back these 2, and then I have another bird in graveyard or another Kieran in graveyard and just push for game. It was just so quick, so easy, and it was just insane. But yeah, 3 evenly matched. So ending the deck profile, I have a few things that I thought about just testing with you guys. You know, I always have some other stuff to show you guys besides, you know, the deck that I was playing for my locals. But just hopping, was thinking about playing the 1 original Garunix. It doesn't do much, but being able to special summon a Fire King from the deck is pretty good. And just having it as a 1-of, I feel like it's another way to just keep your engine going. Same thing for Yashka. Yashka is a level 4, sure, but it gets the same effect to pop a card from your hand, which is also pretty good. Just another interruption. Sacred Phoenix of Nethys, also another card I feel like is good to deal with back row. Something that I haven't really tested, but I just feel like in theory it's pretty good depending on the matchup. Just some things to think about just going into this format. After this ban list, I've just been thinking about how to change this deck up just going in the next format. It's just different. Just got a lot of stuff to do. And then the same for your Onslaught. Onslaught is just a 1-of, in my opinion, you can play. It's an old card, obviously we used to play back in the day, but Onslaught is still pretty good to just special summon any card. If your opponent controls a monster and you control no monster, you can special summon 1 fire beast, beast warrior, or wing beast monster from your deck. Its effects are negated, also destroyed during the end phase. You can only activate once per turn. So I feel like that's still pretty good, depending on what happens next format. You never know. Extra deck slots, I was thinking of one Tiger King and one Fire Doll. This may be the replacement I was thinking about, taking out the dark. Not sure yet, not necessarily sure how comfortable I am with it, but I'm not sure yet. I think for right now, the format is how it is. Just see how things turn out, how things come up, and what settles and what sticks. Some other things I was thinking about was the one Blaster. Blaster, self-explanatory, same thing with the True King Fire, pairing it off with your set rotation and your diagram. I think this is a little small package that I was thinking was just pretty funny to play, just pretty cool, just playing with fire, honestly. And it was just something that was just pretty cool that I thought I'd just share with you guys. You know, comment down below, let me know what other spice you guys were thinking about. Another one I was thinking about was Dark Hole Dragon, and then 3 Dark Hole, just to enable your monsters, because all your monsters get their effects when they're destroyed, whether they're in hand, grave, whatever. You have something to trigger if something's destroyed, and Dark Hole Dragon will search Dark Hole if it's destroyed, and it will just get everything going, honestly. Moving on, for side deck options, I was thinking about would be Super Poly. Super Poly is pretty good, and these will be my targets in my opinion. Obviously pairing along with 3 Super Poly. These will be my targets going forward. Even after the ban list, I feel like these targets are still pretty good. Even though the Noble Knight hit was pretty good for Icehold, this was my Noble Knight target. But you never know what will come up. Striker does have extra deck warriors and main deck warriors, so we'll see how that goes. Same as 2 darks, a fusion and a dark, you know, 2 monsters, same type, same attribute. And then another fusion target I will put in here is Garura, but that's coming up now because, you know, we have budget options for people who don't have access to the wanted stuff. I would play the Shaddoll package with the Garura and the Tri Brigade 2. Playing this package, being able to send these guys to get a draw, get a search. You know, you got your 1 Maximus, your 1 Ecclesia, and your 1 Knight, just to get things going along. I think this is just a small little package, like I said, just in case, because the extra deck is flexible. There isn't a lot of things that you need to necessarily focus on besides, you know, like your SP, you know, whatever, your Hida, you know, just other flex spots and stuff like that. But I feel like this was, you know, a good idea that I seen for people who just didn't have access to the wanted stuff. Never really tested it out. I might do it in the future, like I said, depending on how the format rolls along. But right now, I feel like what I have now is just pretty strong. I'll just stick with that. But other than that, that's about it for the deck profile, guys. Nothing really else to talk about, but just comment down below. Let me know what some other spice, any, you know, tech options that you guys would play with this deck, things that you would change, things you would thought about adding, things that you want to just test out. But like I said, comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. Appreciate all the support, all the help. Let's try to get to at least 700 subs or at least 800 subs by the end of the year. But I appreciate you guys. Thanks so much. Please do like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.